Let's go straight in to game number 1. All right, and here we go.
Kicking off everything, going to be coming up next to Severny, making our way straight down. It's just going to be the west of Snova Island. So, looking at everything, pretty much everything's going to be available except for our eastern paths. Might have to hop in a vehicle and make a credit cross.
I was just going to say, I mean, starting off the game with a plane path this far west, when you look at the grand scheme of things, there are so many more split drop zones available far east. Game 1, you usually like to think simple circles, simple plane paths. This is arguably, on a wrinkle, one of the more tricky plane paths to start things off with.
See, you say that, but over in the Americas region, it's like the first circle is going to be 95% water. That's been the name of the game. We even had that happening on Miramar, of all things. So, but that said, I do have to give a shout out to America's boys coming through here, specifically America, who is going to be in the center of this one, going to be making a drop right on Pachinki itself. I am quite intrigued in this Sonic's play style coupled in with everything. Whoa! Oh,
Taipei getting full commit. We talked about the potential. Maybe it wasn't all sorted during scrims. And of all the places in the world, Fairy Pier is where we're contesting. We're hearing the crowd, obviously.
They're invested.
Big favorites coming into this one in terms of crowd enchantment. Thailand, please come out on top, because this roof would be completely blown off.
I know. We're pretty close to the audience over here, and
We're
I don't want to see
sitting
what
right
would
next to
happen. How this goes. All right, shifting through, you can see a lot of teams just making the quick run in, trying to grab weapons as quick as possible, trying to spot. Circle goes super far to the north. This fight now has to end so fast.
You called the water circles. Well, you're given
Dude,
one right off the bat.
It just happens.
Is that an NA circle? Is that what it is now? I mean,
It's
we
just
got Canada
everywhere.
up there, right? It's almost as if they were used to. They knew what was going to happen.
Oh, see, it's the northern teams playing in the north.
Yeah, exactly. Sitting up there, ready and waiting for things to come. Obviously, for a little while, it's going to be quiet up north, but down south, gun's been found, loot along with it, helmet, Kevlar for endurance, got himself both a shotgun and a Vector in hand. Not exactly the worst layout for an up-close fight here.
Yeah, but nobody's willing to make a move. You can see down there on the mini-map, it's going to be kind of split up as we're looking, and it's going to be Taipei that's going to be north of it, and then Thailand to the south. We talked about this. This is going to be one of these fights that needs to end quickly, so that way you can either get loot or rotate, because they got a long ways to go.
Yes, and I'm looking at Xavier on your minimap in the bottom right corner right now. He's the one. Go get the car. At least have it for backup, so if something goes wrong, they can bail. I'm curious to see, though, with Thailand being the one pushed down towards the water side, if they get that first knock, maybe a player from Taipei overstepping. If they get that one knock, do they hard commit to it, or do they still hesitate?
I mean, look, nobody's got any ammo to work with.
No vest on SQL.
This is, we were kind of talking about this coming in. It's been a while since we've been on land, and I'm kind of curious if we might see land jitters starting to show back up, especially in a first round hot drop. That's going to be a lot, and you know Thailand has so much pressure. You're talking about with the audience sitting here. They don't want to be the team that makes a mistake here, but they're the ones that are kind of gate kept out.
Exactly. Leo on the roof here, trying to see if he can spot any Thai players flanking around UK in the meantime. No worries, they got all military to themselves. They'll rotate on over. Should be all right to make their transition on through. No one's in Milta. They have, honestly, pretty clear-cut path up north for them. No issues around shelter. Could potentially run into teams once they make it into this kind of Yasnaya area of the map, but for now, all is looking good and dandy for the UK boys.
Saw one of them running with a shotgun. I think it was Vard, just putting a priority on trying to get into position.
Yeah.
Still just some scouting going on. I don't know if we've seen anybody actually spot each other at this time, but the lines are starting to get to a stage where they should see. Looks like Chinese Taipei is stepping back away from this one.
Go for the cars.
Go get the vehicles, get secured. This isn't. Don't go for a kill point here. You just don't need to take a fight this early, especially the fact that both these squads are so underlooted.
Worst thing is, I mean, for Thailand, now they don't fight, so they don't get the points. And there are only so many car spawns around this area of the map. I mean, if they get all the cars and dip, Thailand, obviously, I mean, phase one not going to be the biggest issue, but it's going to be a while before they make it into that north side circle.
I mean, this is going to be a trek coming up from them, and there are a couple of opportunities that they can run through, but yeah.
Boat rotation?
Could be. I mean, just off the get-go. There's options.
Yeah.
Whenever we're looking at this, Canada has gotten control over the area west of Severny, and there's a lot of water in there that they can make a use with that one.
Sure.
Turkey making their way into the circle right now, as well as we're starting to see the migrations come into play.
You know what? I mean, even though we did get that first shot, I'm kind of liking the fact that we're almost 5 minutes in and no kills. Again, you talked about land jitters. You don't want to be the player that comes into a LAN event, maybe for the first time even, sits down, 1 second into the game, you're out of it, and you just get to sit back for the next 30 minutes going, well, that sucks. At least for now, everyone's getting looted, everyone's getting ready to rotate, so glad to see everyone on their feet, at least getting their feet on the ground before Chaos falls.
Australia, I gotta say, if you did not pick them, you should be pretty worried. As you saw coming in, even whenever we're looking at the country intros, doing like the combined shooting together, these guys have been playing together for so long. This is a highly synergized squad.
They're so in sync that they had the excessive energy to make a choreography for the intro show. I mean, that's how much energy they've got. They're bringing to this. Luke getting himself looted on up, of course, far up north side. Not the furthest rotation for them to make. But then again, I mean, we're coming into, they only had so many scrims against one another. So as good as you might be as individuals, as one team, it's the, do we know what we're running into? Do we know what to expect from every single opposing team? And with the amount of games they've had to play against one another, I would say no. You have ideas, you have just some ideas, but with the tricky playing path, with the tricky circle to start things off, it's going to be a guessing game for a large part of it.
And yeah, that's what I love about these style of events. There is so much pressure on the IGL system because you have got to make so many on-the-spot calls. That's just, I mean, you can't expect how these teams are going to play. And with that, you have no idea on what's going to be happening, especially when you get a far northern circle like this. It's just going to lead to more and more potential chaos for us.
Exactly. Looking down towards the southern bridge, kind of splitting off north and south Georgia Pole, could potentially become a bottleneck of teams running into one another. There are a few teams in that area right now, but fortunately for the most part, teams have kind of managed to avoid each other here early on. Still, we have Thailand all the way down in Ferry Pier, not made their way out of there just yet. And again, I mean, I'm starting to think the boat, at least for part of the rotation, is a play here.
Here's my concern, though. Thailand, I don't know how much information they have on their position. We're just looking at them off of the map right now, so remember, you guys got the map stream. Keep an eye and a track on your teams if you're rooting for your specific country or a specific squad. We did see Taipei move to the north. Thailand is still looking like they're scouting around very slowly. Korea, coming into this point, have themselves a ton of vision. And this is a squad you don't want to give too much information to, and they are already going to be getting it.
Yep, Anonix up on the hillside, making sure that he can get every single bit of info obtainable, and he got a lot of it already. Looking down towards Severny, I'm a little worried that we do still have Australian players coming into Severny now. Would you have heard it, or is it the unfortunate timing of the rotation? Seems like they're committing harder to the west side, though.
Here's the problem. Yeah, whenever we look down around Georgia Pole, man, there are so many teams. We've got China coming in over here. USA looks like they're running a touch of a split. Vietnam's already coming in. I mean, it's going to get to a point where the tension is just mounting slowly and steadily. Loki taking a couple of bullets, but he should be able to find. No big deal. That Shaq's got a lot of support that I can run with. The rest of Korea can also probably support him from the low ground off that position. But again, traffic jam still holding up around Georgia Pole.
And you know what I like to see? It's Japan getting those shots in early. Japan, arguably one of the more passive countries in general. I mean, when we talk Japanese playstyle in PUBG, Japanese was the team during scrims to kick Canada out of school and apps. They 8-0'd them, back-to-back games, 4-0'd. They're coming in with a different amount of balls. And now, Ming Ming, you got to dodge and weave to survive this one. One more attack from H-Win. Could be the first player out, and he does get enough.
USA
H-Win
gets it.
finds one. The flush not guaranteed so far, but Ming Ming running into an American ambush early on.
Should be able to get the res, though, so not going to probably see that first blood, but you can see Xlip not wanting to put too much into this. This is kind of a complicated way to go into this res.
He might have to move the car in order to even sit in there and get the res.
He can just do the sweet spot.
Exactly. No, he's gonna reverse it off and get the res. Ike's left, obviously, when we saw during the start of it, he was picked by so many, almost half of everyone has Ike's left on their fantasy team. There's a reason for that. He is a beast. But now let's see here, Fischer, full speed forward, thinks he's all safe, but Germany ready and waiting.
Payne's waiting. This trap could come off at any minute. We are seeing the rotation.
Shots fired.
Side of it. Payne's now starting to unload. Tries to line it. Does get one of them down. And that's going to be Fischer. Knocked off his vehicle, quickly flushed out of it, so it's going to be Argentina, the first one to lose a member in this game.
Yep, Germany holding on. How many more will they let through, though? Martinsen already made his way forward. Silson trying to make a run forward. Aaliyah down by the shoreline as well, trying to get away. Seems like they will be able to get away, but damage done early. Argentina down to 3.
Germany picking up the first kill and the first points all considered. I know a lot of eyes are drawn to them to see what they can try to do in this because a lot of X factors for that squad.
I think for Germany, I mean, this is exactly what they should be doing. Germany might not be the best. I mean, up close against one on the 4v4. So if they can find the kills early, if they can find 2 or 3 kills before really going into that first, like, we have everything to risk with this fight moment, then they should be all set. We're seeing on the map now as well, Thailand finally got themselves some vehicles. They're going to go, I guess they must have left Pochinki at this point, right? Let's get some more loot in there, because there must be enough for us to share.
Yeah, but even then, this is just going to be more and more of a problem as the circle does contain in, moves in, keeps subverted in play. This is pretty much the way you had to expect the circle to go, though, but that means that almost all territory for our teams that are on the outside, most notably, like whenever we look at Taiwan, there's nowhere to really go but Canada now having to hold up against Australia, who's coming in from multiple angles.
Calling the bluff here, realizing it's not going to be a full team by any chance. No way 4 people are sitting in there. Australia calling it early. They are committed. This one, nice nade, no damage found, though. Flood had the right floor, but unfortunately wall blocking off the damage.
Doing a good job of holding out right now. Canada having to dodge all the Molotovs that are coming in. Keenan has gotten hit, and it's just going to be slow and still attacked up, but Keenan does manage to drop a nade right on top of Tiggleton. Pushes now, starting to come through. It's going to be a knock on the other side of it. Now Shinboy trying to find the angle for it. Does get knocked, and that's going to be the end of that fight.
Back to back, you say that, but look at this Canada coming in. The cavalry is arriving a little late, and I think it's going to be too late for it to happen. Fortunate for Australia here. Tiggleton got knocked way out of the compound. He was in the open, and fortunately, there was no response from Canada fast enough to kind of come and help out. An issue now being the position that the remaining 2 split players from Canada went from has now been taken over by Finland. So fast in response, and Canada essentially has nowhere to play from now.
I do want to point out Finland did steal one of those kills.
Yep.
So kudos to them for keeping an eye on what's going on around them at the time. Australia is also going to get the res onto Tiggleton out there. And, I mean, this is just going to be the nature of the beast from here on out. It's just going to be predominantly hill fights. This is a very open area of the map. Well, I say open. It's not very clustered with buildings. This is about finding dips, trees, whatever you can find to try to work around.
I love the hard commit from Australia, saying, you know what, there's no way there are 4 people sitting in that compound. You shot at us, we know you're there, we're going to hard commit to it, and they pay the price. Canada down to just 1 player as they tried to see if they could stay alive through it. Not going to happen. They had the circle, they had the position, but they're the first ones really to take casualties.
It's just the way Australia wants to play this. We know that they are a hyper-frag-heavy team, and they can play aggressive here. Again, they've got the synergy, they've been playing together, they know exactly what to do. And whenever you have the killing capability of that squad and then have the communication already established, that is going to be so painful for everybody else around them.
Let's see, Onyx looking to see what he can do, looking to see if he can spot more people, of course, harder when you're sitting down inside shooting range itself. Make sure no one's on those open hillsides, because if you're caught in the open, it's going to be hard to find cover when you're down in the lowlands.
Yeah, this is coming in just no information at all. So this is going to be a lot of take a couple of steps, see if maybe shoot at you. Yeah, as you're pointing out right here, leaned over, pointing out to me, it's going to be no meds for Nerds even at this stage, and he was the guy that opened this up.
7 bandages coming in late to this one. If this circle goes away, I mean, you're at a point where Thailand, you got to force a fight with somebody. It's got to be up close, because, I mean, fighting a nug at 300 meters won't get you their meds. If you want to stay alive through it, if you want to be able to take some damage at a distance and fight on, you need those meds.
But I do want to point out, Thailand did get in the circle before Chinese Taipei, and while they do have the vehicles, it's going to be USA that has a firing line over here. That's going to make it difficult for Chinese Taipei, as they are going to have to cut into the north, and they are going to have a hillside that they can stop at. But there's no information, and no matter how they come into this, they're going to be bumping into a squad.
Yeah, I was going to say Taipei, they potentially might just backfill Thailand if they continue to go east around this one. Let's see new circle. Just a second away from popping. Where are we? Going back up north. Okay, so playing cash on the southern side of this one. All the teams south and southeast will have to find a way in, and I'd like to think, because of the valley out west matchroom, the approach here's gotta be straight south in the open.
I'm kind of curious on how Korea is going to handle this. Are they going to regroup based off the way that they're positioned out? That's such a greedy hold right now. But the problem with it is everybody's coming in so fast, they don't really have the time to regroup in a safe fashion. 1
knock player in Korea and they will get swarmed. Yeah. Teams know that that is one of few hard cover positions that you can potentially fight for or have multiple teams in. And you can see here, Korea, they understand the situation there, and they know we have to hard cover.
Oh,
Adam! denying Pain steerage. Munchie going to be the one to find the flush, or no points for Japan. But let's see now, Japan remaining players trying to hold up. Keen goes down, Smack goes down, return Lyron out from the building, finds one as well. Japan in trouble. They held strong early in the open, but now they're getting run over.
There is just everybody flooding in from this angle right now. Japan's trying to hold up a Turkey, holds the defense, and it's going to be Japan, the first team eliminated. There's still fire coming for Turkey, though, as it's so many angles.
They knew they had a team right next door. They waited for the perfect opportunity to take the fight. Now they
USA
do. America out right after. Vietnam on the hill down below. USA thought they played back three, looked down towards the shooting range area. As soon as they turn around, Vietnam instantly there.
With this, Thailand still has to make their move into it. Korea trying to bend up. Takes the shot, Argentina, but it's going to be long-range shots coming out from Canada. And luckily, we're going to see Korea continuing to defend, but the hills back behind them are going to have two teams still looking at shooting range.
Exactly, Korea doing a great job at kind of holding everyone at bay, preventing them from accessing. But, of course, eventually what's going to happen, Argentina now 3 down the bunker below. Nothing but easy spot to play from. Let's see Xiaoyan. What can he find from here? Shoots over towards Kidex, not going to get any damage in. China. That's Ike's left knocked. Teddy able to find one. I don't assume there's going to be a flush all fit giving in the building.
This is such a, they're so hard right now. Indonesia can't really move. They've got China on the other side, but they're kind of gatekeeping out China's position. They do have Chinese Taipei that made the dash into this area just to the east of what we're looking at, and that's why we see Indonesia kind of, I guess, hunkered off in this spot. So Indonesia looks like they are eyeing the China side, but I mean, which way do you go? No matter which way you try to come out of this, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Exactly. I mean, Indonesia needs to be well aware that they have an entire team sitting up and playing grass, just ready and waiting. If a knock comes in for them on either side, they got to go. Let's see now. In the meantime, Thailand
Loki.
Full speed forward. I'm seeing 4 nades. I am seeing 4 nades on Loki, and if that dip is famous for one thing, that is collateral damage of nades, tearing teams apart. They're sitting close. 1 or 2 good nades could be the downfall.
And Onyx has some damage coming at him. It's going to be Seoul that takes it, though, steps away from everything that's going to be going on. Argentina is still pretty close to the north, so that's why Lash hasn't been able to move. Nurens is finding a path into this, just using those hills to the outside of what's going on. Nurens taking the shots in, and that's going to continue to force Korea off. While Loki is in a good spot, he doesn't have the clearest toss, and it's going to be moving the circle over to UK's favor.
These circles get worse and worse by the second out into the open. Only Finland will have cover. Remember, this is cover Finland took away from Canada early on when they opted to leave, so really reaping the rewards of a smart early engagement of that one on the Finnish side of things. But down towards the southeast shooting range, now completely out of it. Thailand, Korea, you will have to fight for an entry point to the circle. There's no other way around it. Thailand, you can't wrap south around. That's going to be suicide. And for Korea, you got to take this fight.
You said it. Everybody wanted to play this slowly. You don't want to take those early fights. You're at this stage. You don't have a choice anymore. Australia can kind of loop around, but Thailand, Korea, they have to try to find some way to go, and it's just going to be trying to hop in a vehicle. Gets the shots in, but Lash now looking in, trying to cover his teammates to the south of this. And, I mean, Korea's doing a great job on holding, but they need to move.
The nades starting to come in now. They're within range. And the first one. Belmont falls down. More nades, same area. It's going to be Haisaki, the IGL from Vietnam, able to get the flush through. So a lot of kills stolen here early on. Everyone. Full attention here. Game number 1. No one starting off slow.
Oh, I have missed the rumble of nades and land.
You
it just
feel
feels good out here.
You can feel it in your feet.
China trying to make the move in, and they're very aware that they've got Indonesia. Taipei still stretching out and should have the northern gatekeeping position onto them. I mean, it's just a damned if you do, damned if you don't moment for so many teams.
China are not ones to be beaten around the rosy here. They will, I mean, they don't risk, like, they're just not afraid. They know that they have an entire team in front of them, and they will run to them. They will take the fight to have Norrens. Does go down to blue. Yankov now down to blue as well. Thailand will fall.
There we go.
We knew the fight had to happen eventually, and Korea prevails.
Korea still has to make their move, though. China trying to make a move of their own, coming up right next to Brazil. Shot's going to come out from Hayden, who's got himself a beautiful position. Gets some damage, but doesn't get the knock.
Indonesia wrapped around them. That might actually pay off. The issue is they're going straight up towards UK, and they might enact this one. Now the issue is, though, China playing with just 1 car and trees for cover, but there's so many teams with angle on them. There's no way they're going to stay hidden here. They're getting torn apart.
Doesn't matter power rankings when you've got to fight your way through so many squads. China, definite favorites, but right now they're the definite favorite to eat a ton of nades and damage. Now, just Lou up looking around, and there's nowhere for him to go. You can see Brazil has just beat it in. Indonesia did get that position ahead of him, just like you're talking about. And we're actually looking at Vietnam now stretching back into Chinese Taipei. That might take some shots and at least reveal some type of position, give China some way to recover.
There's Brazil haven't been on the west side of this for quite a while. Gets an angle once more, does go for the shot. 3 kills coming the way for Brazil as China falls out in 12th play. They tried to play the Valley, but there's simply too many teams up top dealing with them.
It's so open in the north, but it is so hard to make that rotation. You can see Korea does manage to get themselves a foothold inside the zone. They've got a dip to play. They do also have Germany that's pretty close, but the circle shifts away from them, going to the west, favoring Indonesia and UK.
Magnetizing on the Valley, one of the hardest areas, in my opinion, to have an endgame fight on Erangel. Let's see Korea. They've made moves already. They've stood strong. Somehow they're still 4 alive, but this might just be too much for them to handle. They're doing all what they can, though, in trying to get out of here. Damage coming through every single time Vietnam peeks on over. You can see the bullets are instantly flying their way.
Third, fourth party going to be all over the place, especially for the squads that are trying to come down from the shooting range hillside. I mean, targets galore are happening right now, but we actually see UK and Indonesia are starting to get in range of each other and have started to damage each other out. They're fighting for that center spot. This means that the teams on the outside could have an opportunity. Korea hopping inside of a vehicle. They've just got a clown card. They're sending it out. Vietnam taking some shots. Doesn't get enough to knock one just yet, but where do they go? Rolling right in, right next to Turkey.
Kirtpat trying to throw one forward, bounce off a little bit to the side, not going to get it. They were standing right on top of one another. Could be absolutely insane. That one comes down. Loki, first one to fall, and Onyx down to half HP. They are in trouble. Korea, they are still alive, but they still have further to go. Turkey sitting over the top, holding on Argentina. Now coming into this one too.
Trying to leapfrog this. What is Argentina going to look at? You can see just jumping in the vehicle and Onyx trying to get away, realizing this could be bad. Argentina, are you going to look at Turkey? Are you going to look at Korea? Because everybody over here is still fighting to make it inside the safe zone, and there is nowhere to go.
Everyone fighting for space. So far, United Kingdom, the one sitting inside the circle, but on the side, on the southeast, the fight's been happening so far. The last 10 minutes straight, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. Indonesia knows full, but now Glorious peaks on down, fights one with Soul. Instantly there to respond.
Trying to fight their way up this one. Vietnam takes a massive amount of casualties. Korea might have the opening for this one to try to run through. Only one member up for Vietnam at range, but it's going to be Argentina. Sells it. Trying to go for more, but Argentina goes down. Korea fighting tooth and nail to make it into the circle.
They are fighting half the server at the same time and somehow still alive through all of the 7 kills for Korea as they continue to fight their way forward. Ketpa, only player left alive for Turkey, peeks forward, doesn't get an angle.
Don't stay there, Turkey.
How are they still 4 alive?
They are just murdering the entire world to get inside this zone. UK did take out Indonesia while this is going on, so do have a strong spot. They are running a separated position at range, but you can see it's going to be Australia that's running one member up in the north and the only member that's really up there.
Right now, I mean, Korea, they're going to be running 2 solo players. If they deal with them both, look at the HP of Loki. They have nothing to work with. Solo Loki, 30 HP between them. I don't know if they missed Ketpa, if they just said we got to go to the circle and then take the fight, but they got snakes on both sides. One bullet is all, 2 bullets essentially to take down 2 players. Hi, Sagi. Again, IGL from Vietnam peeking all over. Finland from behind. Ketpa sneaking up into position, not going to find it. Now Hi, Sagi peeks on over. Spotted 1, Molly comes forward 2.
Just trying to get away from point now. He's already revealed himself, knows the fact that he's going to have to do a run through a wide open position, trying to use the hillside to at least get some distance, but it's going to be Finland at range that's taking pot shots. On the other side of this one, you can see Taipei now starting to make a move into Brazil. Brazil on the gate-kept position right now, and are going to have to try to move through them or Australia to the north.
Flash is going to keep them blind for a good while. The effects peeking on over. Everyone's been fighting. Well, honestly, with the exception of Finland, they've been able to sit tightly compound for a good while. Everyone else, you can see the Mets, you can see the heals. They are running on fumes at this point. Everyone trying to stay put out here in the open.
Should be noted, Vietnam has been doing a great job on murdering as they make their way in as well, picking up 200 kill points. But Brazil also trying to stack up more, realizing where Chinese Taipei is, but they have to run through a wide open field to try to get there. Haven trying to go for a flank point, looks in, gets the spray in, and there you go! Well played.
Haven, up and coming superstar, showing up here in game number 1. 5 kills already, adding the Brazil total up to 7. Top 6 guaranteed as well. And here comes Korea. Full speed forward, bumping into each other. Oh no! You don't want to do that. Logan full speed forward, takes the gun.
car!
Taken down by the vehicle. Still one alive. Vex goes down too, and they all fall.
The nades! Vex just dropped the nade right on top of him. Lash trying to crawl his way into this one. Hi, Saki at range looking in. Korea does manage to at least stabilize and get one of their members back up.
The fact that they survived just with 2 out of that one, wow.
Australia, though. Australia's still so strong, and coming into this, in this area, they are going to be able to feast off of this.
No reason for them to rush anything. They know that they have Brazil down towards the southwest. They know that the UK inside the circle. But if you grab enough control up here on the hillsides, if you spread out and take that entire ridge, you have all the vision in the world to pinpoint exactly where you want to go next circle. In the meantime, Haisagi, no smokes remaining. He could use a few of them to get down this hill.
Brazil hopping in the vehicle. They are going to make their way to the edge of the zone, but not entirely inside of it yet. You can hear long-range shots is last.
What's going to happen eventually?
I mean, he had to run into a bad spot, so Haisagi does eventually drop. And now we're looking at a hillside that's just going to be all kinds of violence on Australia's side. It's going to be Brazil making the push into that. Just few options. They have to come in through here. UK is pretty close, but they really can't do too much on their angle that they're playing from. So this is really about, can the 3 for Australia hold back whatever Brazil is trying to bring?
Look at the utility on the Australian side. I mean, they had that early fight against 2 of the players from Canada, but other than that, they've been sitting tight on the north side of the circle. Still got plenty of vest, plenty of utility helmet, all in good standing here. Only 1 nade for Monty. There's 2 players down behind the rock just below. He finds a perfect nade here. That's 2 out of Brazil in an instant.
Oh, there we go. Luke does drop the nade on top of Haven. He's going to go down. The other members are spotted. Oh, and there goes the vehicle as well. Deny anything. Circle does pop UK's favor as well as this firefight. That means Australia can stretch down into this. They need to make a move in. Taking the shots in, and Brazil finding themselves in some trouble. But VHZ does get a knock onto Luke in retaliation.
And not until now is Finland going to be forced to make the play out here. If they read this right, if they know the fight on the hilltop is going on right now, that is where you push. You go up, you claim control, you're taking out Soul, continuing. They are playing from a shack, and they're still finding knocks across the map.
Leans out, gets some damage in. That's going to buy more time for Australia to get the reses that they need. Finland's got a free path into this, really.
Yep.
They've been doing a great job on controlling the territory just to their west. Nobody's been allowed to come through there, so they know it's open.
Very curious I was to see if Finland was going to wrap north around or try and play the lowlands here. I think they're just, right now, I mean, they're backfilling. They're taking their time. They want to see if a potential fight breaks out. Because if something happens uphill, they will make the northern wrap. Issue is, I'm not sure if they're aware that UK sits in a position that they do. We saw them hesitate to push up towards that shack, and I think it makes perfect sense that they hold back at least for a little while longer. Let the other teams fight one another and have a perfect third-party opportunity yourself.
There's just so much vision in this circle whenever you see people moving in. Third and fourth party, we talked about it earlier. This is going to be so big at this stage. I mean, look at what we're looking at for the circle itself. Trees, a couple of dips. Just like you were saying, the first team that takes the shot, we're essentially looking at a game of chicken, is going to reveal themselves, and that's just going to set up a domino effect. Australia, though, could benefit from that a lot.
Definitely.
This is a squad that can just turn and fire and start to spray stuff down.
Definitely. How long will UK remain out of combat here? I think it's the deciding factor as to whether Australia or Finland
is what they're trying to do. They don't want nothing to do with what's happening around
Halo,
them.
sit tight and let the other teams with 4 players still alive fight one another. The issue is, with the pathing into this circle, I'm not sure exactly how UK avoids confrontation, but looks to me now like Finland actually eyeing down towards the south.
This is interesting because we have Finland that's going to be looking at Korea's shack with 2 members, and we've got UK's shack that's to the northwest of that. It's going to be Australia looking in, so we're almost looking at 2 independent fights.
They know exactly where both those teams, both those 2 teams are. And I was just going to say they just need a knock. They need some sort of entry, but right now all the gates are closed by the respective guards, and right now if they can find the double vehicle explosion coming up as well. Damage coming out now, Flood over the top, shooting again. Keep in mind, UK doing everything they can to remain as tiny as they can. They don't want to do anything here. They want to pop up at the very last moment to get as much damage in as they possibly can.
Here's the big thing. Circle favors Australia. They've got the high ground. They're just going to be looking at fish in a barrel coming in. LFP is the hopes for so many squads right now. If he can like creep in and maybe just distract Australia, maybe these other teams could find a way into the circle.
If Luke peeks south, which is shooting, I mean, they gotta anticipate somewhat of a flank from the southern side. If LFP can find him in the midst of doing that, that could easily open up the north side, because they will have to commit 1 to go down to get the rest, and then all of a sudden you're in a 2v4 against Finland, or potentially a 2v2 against the UK.
Here's my thing. We saw Korea fight their way out of a no-win situation. They shouldn't have got out of that.
Multiple times already.
Finland is looking at them, and they have control on this, and by every regard, Korea should die here. But I mean, what miracle can Korea try to make here? They've got to cross a road that's going to be just full-on open terrain. They know it. Finland's prepped on it, throwing it in, and it's going to be Brazil on the other side. Double teaming up into it now. Finland trying to make the run in. Are we going to see LFP make the push into Australia, or is it going to be just enough to distract? A couple of shots are coming out from him, and now it's going to be Finland looking down into Brazil's direction as well.
Page falls down, and Slot finds one.
He's
Damage done
just
towards Finland. The rest should be possible here behind the rock. There's, again, Finland, plenty of utility to work with. Will have smokes up. Cover, circle moving in. Slow to HP. Well done towards Finland. The rest should be possible here behind the rock. There's, again, Finland, plenty of utility to work with. Will have smokes up. Cover, circle moving in. Slow to HP. Well, LFP can't find it. Wanted to, didn't happen. Brazil fall in fourth as the climb uphill begins for Finland and a potential win this game.
Here is the fight right now. UK is hiding out in their shack as they should be doing. They're just trying to survive, get as many points as they can. But Australia looking down at Finland. These two teams have owned opposite sides of this hillside for so long. Finland doing a great job in controlling everything to the west of Severny, moving in. Meanwhile, Australia has been walking their way through squads to try to find the right approach into this one, and now finds themselves looking down into Finland's approach.
This game ends on UK. I mean, this game literally ends
Yeah.
on their shack. You can see the mollies being thrown now. They knew there was going to be people around. Vard is prone outside, though. The X-ray might not give that away that easily. The outside, but Fader finally, Nate coming in from Diggory, finds one. Don't take anything for granted. You have the utility, use it wisely.
I love this. You can see that Finland is trying to use the shack to give them the cover to get into the circle and deny everything from Australia. Australia's trying to separate out, trying to find new angles, get the sprays in. Flood does get the knock on Mixie, and now it's getting a little bit spicy. Monty does go down as well, as it's going to be a full-on firefight. T-Bone caught in the middle of all of it, but it sprays every section of this map.
T-Bone still prone, dodging and weaving as best as it can as the nades continue to come in. 3 alive. Australia still with a chance to get a rest if they can find time to get it. T-Bone mollied up on forward. Do not want to allow for anyone to play this shack. Flood just exactly able to avoid the molly from behind. The other side, T-Bone spots one. Now they know there's one just on the other side of the car.
Going for the spray and finally does go down. United Kingdom is eliminated, but it's going to be full-on members finding it out. Flood going for the spray and 2 members of Finland on the opposite side trying to defend up. Are we going to see Australia on the side flank find the angles for it? They are trying so hard, but Diggory trying to hold it up, but it's going to be Flood that gets a knock on a Page. Now, just Diggory up, fighting on one side of it, sitting at 7 kills, but no! It's going to be Australia that picks up the first round.
Australia all the way from down under. And they grab themselves win number 1.
I mean, are you really that surprised that Australia managed to pick up the first round? This is a squad we were talking about that is just so ridiculously strong, and that's exactly how they want to play. Find an area where they can